Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to TED Talks Ball. We've got a Tuesday afternoon edition. Actually, I guess this is No BS TED, right? I mean, Ryan, that's what we've been calling our
Yeah,
shows. This is an
yeah,
official Tuesday afternoons, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern time. We will be coming to you live every week, or at least as often as we can. And I guess we got to get some overlays made and get that official. But this is No BS TED. But I do right now just have the old sort of banner to fly right down here. So Ryan at Border Sports on Twitter and No Border Sports on YouTube. The link to his channel is in the description. So be sure, if you're watching on his channel, make sure you pop over to mine, give me a like and subscribe. And same thing if you're on TED Talks Ball, do the same for Ryan. If you're on a PC, make sure that you open up two tabs and watch us both at the same time. And if you're on a phone, you could always look on a tablet and do two devices. So we appreciate in advance everybody switching up and supporting as much as possible. So, Ryan, obviously a lot to go over here. I titled the show, it's officially time to worry about Bosa's contract extension. That's been on my mind, we can get into that here in a minute. But obviously there's a lot of updates from the Broncos game on Saturday as well, too. And I just want to sort of let you talk for a minute because I've been going here for a minute. So why don't you chime in and let us know how you're feeling and what you're up to? Anything you got going on coming up that you want to promote? Anything like that?
yeah. Actually, later on tonight, we're over on Mariah's channel. Me, or Bashar, 49er Minded, Mariah from 49er Faithfully, and I doing the Bring the Heat podcast. And yeah, we were supposed to do it last week. We were supposed to start it up last week again, and we had some technical difficulties, and so we are gonna run it tonight. So make sure you tune in there. I mean, it's going to be more of this right here. Good conversation about what is going on.
No doubt about it. Well, so I mean, like I said, I titled the show, it's officially time to worry about Bosa's extension. For a long time, I was like, oh, I'm not worried. There's enough time. Bosa keeps himself in shape. And it was last week, I guess it was Thursday evening, I was on with Pedro Burge, from Australia. He's my usual Thursday weekly show from Niners DNA. And I was like, but I am starting to worry because iron sharpens iron. And we need McKivitz ready for week 1 against TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. And we don't have anybody on this team like either of those guys to get our, right tackle, who's never played right tackle in the NFL before, never started a game at right tackle before. And even Trent Williams could probably use some dusting off to help him really get into game shape, ready to play for week 1.
He hasn't been as tested this year in camp as he normally is. Yeah.
No, that's true. And he's had more rest days. And I really hope we see Bosa soon.
I don't know if it matters. I don't know if it matters as far as when, you know what I mean? Other than maybe, let's say, 10 days.
Yeah, I mean, for Bosa, I don't think it matters, but like I said, for the other guys, I think it does. But eventually we get to the point where he might not play week 1 if he's not here, though. And I don't think that's too far off. I mean, because they were saying 3 weeks, and that was this last Sunday.
I don't think that will happen. The reason being is, personally, let me preface everything so you know where my point of view as far as why he's not there. I think he just doesn't want to be in camp right now. I think he's like, every 4 years, I get to skip out on camp a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, or you know what I mean? Like, he's just not trying to go through all this stuff. So I have a feeling that's the reason is, like, it's all cooked up, ready to rock. It's just not signed. That's my feeling.
There you go. I mean, there's definitely some wisdom to keeping him away from the 90-man roster, because the 90-man roster is very different than the 53-man roster. There's a lot of people fighting for their careers, for their lives, that probably aren't going to be as respectful of other players' body parts, and they're just going to play with reckless abandon, if you will, to try and make the squad that you don't see as much once you cut down to 53. So there is some wisdom to that, and I have said that repeatedly this offseason that I could see that, but boy, they sure are making us sweat, Ryan, if it's in place.
It's not them. It would be Bosa, because the 49ers have been sweating the whole time. Like, you could tell on John Lynch's face, he's like, I don't like this. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, it's all done. They're just waiting for him to sign it. And that's why John Lynch said, we need to learn to have patience. So, and the reason why I'm saying that it'll get done is because I don't think Bosa wants to go miss any of the regular season. Not with this line. You know what I mean? Like, you got Hardgrave in there, you got Eric Armstead in there. I was watching the other night. They're double teaming Eric Armstead. They were the Broncos were double teaming Eric Armstead and just letting Javon Hargrave just one-on-one with the guard. And to me, I was like, you are stupid. Not to say that Eric Armstead doesn't have a little wiggle or something like that, but I'm sorry. I would rather have Eric Armstead one-on-one than Hargrave one-on-one. You know what I mean? It's just the guy he's got all that leg. You know what I mean? He's got some thick legs, so he could drive you if he wants to. Like, if he wants to, he's got some ham hocks for thighs. You know what I mean? He can move you, and he could get. He's got great pad level. So, and if you saw last game, he was just like running through the line. He wasn't even like through people. He was just going, but he was shooting the gap so quickly and so just nasty. That's why you got to get two people on him, because he's just waiting for the other guy to leave. And then once he leaves, he's trying to take up his spot after the quarterback. So I just think Bosa will want to be here starting week 1 because he wants to go after that record. He kind of touched it. He got close, but he wasn't able to finish in the backstretch there, those last couple games, which, I'm not mad at him. It's his record. What he did during those games was get a lot of pressures, cause a lot of people to make a lot of bad throws. And I'm perfectly okay with that. You know what I'm saying? His sack total, season sack total, isn't anything that I get up in the morning and like think about with any intent. You know what I mean? And would I like to see him hit that? Of course. I'd love to have a 49er do that, but it's not like anything that I'm like, oh, I got to worry about that. He does. That's one of his things that he wants to accomplish. And sitting out until the end of this, until the season starts, is just going to put a hamper on that. You never know when those sacks are going to happen. He was just pulling up sack after sack after sack, multiple sacks in a game, sack here. It was like every single game he was getting at least one. And there at the end, dried right up on him.
That's true. I think he got tired. He didn't have much help on that line. Bosa didn't.
Also, he didn't get that sack in the 2-point conversion.
Right.
Which
that's
sucks.
True.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
I hear you.
That should count, right?
It seems like it to me. I remember when Kittle got if you can drop, I think, on the 2-point conversion, it didn't count because
if you could score a point, you could get a sack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt about it. It makes sense. Just want real quick, want to call East Coast Niner in the house saying, "How's it going, guys? Thanks for joining.
East Coast.
Appreciate you being." So yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point. I hadn't really thought about that, about why Bosa wouldn't want to sit out. Yeah, if he's going for the record this year, and I had been on record with my prediction for Bosa as saying 20 or more sacks. Now that we added Hargrave, I thought that would help Bosa to get more, and and then that would bring that 22.5 sack total right into firing range, essentially, into reach.
If you can get another defensive end to have any sort of success, like 10 sacks, like I have a feeling Cleveland Farrell could be a 10 sack guy this year, maybe even more. He's nice and fast, You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen all his moves, but he's quick, and quick will serve you sometimes. So I have a feeling there's a chance we might be able to, I don't know, sneak something out. If you
Yeah,
got
cool.
some guy who's just hitting you real quick, then you're gonna have to put two guys onto him. And Bosa's not the speed guy. Bosa's like the hammer. He's just getting there. You know what I mean? At some point, he's getting there. Not to say he's slow. It's just he's not the speed rusher known for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He,
Yeah. The speed
he's
rushers are basically Austin Bryant and Robert Beal, the guy we drafted. And then
yeah.
Farrell's got good get off.
Yes, he
Um,
does.
but he's not real fast, like as far as 40 speed goes or anything like that.
No,
And then,
but you don't.
Drake Jackson could be a 10 sack guy too, or six or eight. I could see.
I have a feeling.
That's possible.
I think about 6 to 8. I really see 8 for him because he's a guy. Like look at him last year before he wasn't able to go anymore. The guy was all all over the field when he was in. You know what I mean? He was getting batted balls, which I'd like to see decreased, because let's face it, if you're getting sacks and not batted balls, it's kind of what you're there for. You shouldn't be in front of the quarterback being able to bat balls. You know what I mean?
Well, and then he had that interception.
Hey, you should be on the side or behind, or I don't necessarily want you behind the quarterback. I want you from the side because it's quicker. But
yeah, now I hear you 100%. Carcast in the house saying, "What's up, guys? What's up, Carcast? Be sure to check out his podcast, YouTube channel.
Carcast
Good stuff
is a great
there."
Dude. Him and
East
Jeff
Coast
have a show. Did you know that?
What's that?
Him and Jeff, rapper Jeff.
Yeah,
They got a show together.
Yeah, Jeff sent me a clip of the couple raps, one about Terradome and one about me. So it's good stuff. I definitely felt like the Terradome one was better, so I was a little bitter. But what are you going to do? I was touched to be,
Carcast.
Carcast.
You need to tell your boy. You tell your boy he needs to put more time into Ted's rap.
Fine. It's fine.
Oh, he'll
it's
do
fine.
versions.
Honestly, I was just, like I said, I was touched that he, took the time to think of me and put together a rap in my honor. That's no one else has ever done that. So thank you, Jeff, for doing that.
He did my rap, got it some parts of it wrong. I think he just misunderstood what I was saying at some point, and he redid it. So yeah, wow. And I got two different raps. Hey,
nice.
Shout out! We got some more that jumped in. We got
Carcass who said that, and then we got Damian Lee saying hello, Niners faithful. What's up, Damian? Welcome.
He calls
and
me.
We got
Palpatine.
Panama Queen saying Ted and Ryan fire.
What
Thanks,
up, Panama.
Appreciate that. East Coast was saying, I believe the DL will have more of a rotation this season. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we got the big three and a lot of questions after that. I was glad to see that Clea Davis practiced yesterday, and Grant was saying that he had some nice run stuffs, which clearly we've been needing in our first two preseason games. We got run on a lot. So I hope Clea Davis can really be that DJ Jones clone that, his sort of combine measurements, led us to believe. So we'll see. That'd be awesome, for sure.
I just don't want to see Kinlaw. If he's out on the field, I'm scared that's the only, like, I don't know. Like, we were told things were better. Not by the sources that I normally listen to, though. For some reason.
No, I was saying it. He was better. I went to 9 training camp practice. Kinlaw was wrecking shop. It was like Ayuk was the best player in camp, and like Kinlaw was probably the second best player in camp. So, but now in the Raiders game, then he's in there, and I mean, Kinlaw struggled, Isaiah Oliver struggled, Womack struggled in that Raiders game, but like when you don't have the other 9 guys, you don't have Hargrave, you don't have Armstead, obviously no Bosa because he's still not signed,
They
no
don't
Fred,
have
no
their guys.
Dre, no Lenore, no Charvarius Ward,
They don't have all
um,
their guys.
no Huff, no Gifts. I get it, but I'm just saying, whatever guys they had could just all focus on Kinlaw on that D line. There
Okay.
was no Drake Jackson. I think Clelin
Well,
Ferrell played in the Raiders game. He played well. He got the one gimme sack. I think they gave it to him because he's a former Raider.
if you're messing everybody up in the line and you're mauling people, right, in practice,
Yeah,
and
but that's also because our
hold
backup
on.
O line is cheeks.
So
So that's part of it too, Ryan. The
yeah,
Raiders' backup O line is probably a ton better than our backup O line.
yeah,
That's part of
because
it.
look, if you're wrecking everybody in practice, right, then in the game you should be able to take a double team on and at least toss one guy to the side. You know what I mean? Or do something, or at least get penetration at least one side or something. Like there's things you could do. There wasn't that. We were talking about pad level, right? Remember, he was talking about pad level. Spent all off season, doing Pilates for the pad level. You know where I saw his pad level? Right above the person who was pushing him out of the way.
Yeah.
Their pad level was here. His was right here.
Yeah. But if you're getting double teamed, that can kind of explain it some.
He wasn't always getting double teamed.
Yeah. Fair.
He wasn't getting double teamed.
Real
there
quick,
was a lot of those plays, damn near play from the Eagles game last year.
Jason Niner Smash Masking the House saying Talofa faithful. Welcome, Jason. Damien was saying Kinlaw just a rotational piece. Now, yeah, I mean Kinlaw, I didn't think he was gonna displace Eric Armstead or Javon Hargrave, but I thought he could be maybe our best rotational piece based off of camp. I guess we'll see what happens, but yeah, you're right. I mean, he clearly hasn't looked like it in either of these 2 preseason games, or was he even injured for the Broncos game? I don't even know if he played much in the Broncos game, but luckily don't think it was his knee. James Durnall in the house says, as much as we coming to us from across the pond, he says, as much as we criticize Kyle, I think he got this game right. Build confidence in players that need it. Get some kind of rhythm with Trey. Get some catches for Latu. And let Duty kick the winner. Oh, don't let Brian Colts do that, James. Oh,
James, you better watch out.
Bryant will be like, James, kickers are people too, man. Kickers are people too.
I called that kick. We were marching down, and I was like, watch Kyle just say, screw it. We're not going to go in and score. We're just going to kick a field goal and make Moody have to kick the game winner. And then next thing you know, like, wait, why are they move? Oh, snap, they're doing it. John Jay's live game stream. So I was like,
well, in a regular season game, that's the thing to do. You're gonna drain the clock and kick the game-winning field goal and leave them 0 time to do anything. But in a preseason game, like, who cares? Like, you don't care if you're winning or losing. You shouldn't. It should just be about getting reps. And like, he basically stole a TD from frickin' Lance or Lance's offense.
One thing I noticed,
it wasn't Lance. One thing
I noticed about the kicking, Ted, give me damn times I got to start this one. So in the kicking game, right, Moody, he kicks, even the short ones go over the top of the goalpost. I think that's kind of a mistake by him. And the reason being is I used to be a ref. So one of the ways I would remember I would know if a kick was good is if it passed in front of the pole instead of behind it. Now, if you see where the guys are posted, right, they're posted up underneath the pole looking up. If it goes over the top of it, what do you see? It go behind the pole. So I'm not saying that he could have been in or out, but this is one thing that could cause some issue. If he tucks it in so he can clear, then, because the first one he missed, it looked like it was just over the top of the pole, like perfectly going over the top of the pole. And the second one almost looked the same, except he got it in. I think he needs to bring it down so he can go in, because I don't know. unless that's going to throw it off to where somebody can swat it. I think that something that might need to be changed there. I just know that when I was a ref, that's how I did it. And it's hard, like replaying stuff in your head. You can see anything you want to, kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's hard. Like, did he grab his face mask? You know what I mean? Or did he, what did I see there? Did I see him push before the ball came in? You know how hard that is as a ref to think back. What did I just see? You know what I mean? What did I just see? And you kind of just got to close your eyes real quick and then just think about the play real quick. And the first thing that comes to it, you just kind of, yep, that's what we're getting. It's hard. It's tough.
It is. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I think with the cameras you can tell a little bit, but certainly it's easier to tell if it's inside the pole than if it's above the pole. Then yeah, you have to draw this imaginary line in your head. And even with video cameras, it's not exact. And you're right; it's open to interpretation at that point. See, let me back up a little bit and just say James Durnall was asking any news on Bosa after meeting with his agent. Nope, nothing but crickets unless something's happened during the show. And then East Coast was saying Kinlaw was ill during the Broncos game. So I had a feeling he didn't play, and I was pretty sure it wasn't his knee. Good to hear that it wasn't anything else injured, just maybe tum-tum or fever or something, or COVID or whatever. They don't really announce COVID anymore.
Jesus, hey.
Cinnamon Kiss in the house.
Did you hear about
Dad and gentlemen? Cinnamon Kiss?
Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Yeah, he broke his wrist.
Yeah.
And he's probably out till at least week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one for the Seahawks. They were, that was a 20th overall pick or something like that?
Yeah, he was the first wide receiver picked in the draft. Joe's smitten with him.
He's going to be bummed. Has any RB established themselves as RB2 while Mitchell is out? I'm starting to worry about overusing CMC early.
That is a great concern, James, because Kyle gets target asphyxiation. So back in Vietnam, I'm pretty sure they were doing a lot of night flights, and they'd have the night vision goggles on, and some of them would fly right into their target. They wouldn't notice how close they were getting to it, and they would just fly right into it. So Kyle just kind of uses the hottest hand until they get broken in half and have to see. What props do we owe you for, Prius gang?
Waruna gave it to him, but he's still waiting for you.
I'm sorry. It's been so long. I don't remember anything we've ever spoke about.
He says Ted versus 49er cast in a steel cage match. Put me in with 49ers cast and Flav and all those haters.
Oh, hey,
I'll take them all at once.
Team.
Plato.
Let's do a tag team.
Yeah, but I think I could handle them solo.
I got a lot of forearm here.
There you go. No, I know you're a big dude. You'd be good. You'd be good wingman for sure.
I like to wrestle. I like people to be awake to feel everything.
Oh, dang. He says props for Trey Lance bombing.
Is Trey Lance bombing?
He didn't bomb. Did you watch the game Saturday, man? Trey Lance was fire. We'll get to that in a minute here. Real quick, just wanted to circle back to the running back question. Clearly TDP was the front runner for RB2 because he got the reps with Purdy, but then he whiffed all these blocks. So you can't have, no block, no rock in Kyle's system. That usually goes for wide receivers, but I think it goes for running backs too, or as well. So I would say Mason would be the one
by default
over TDP. If Mitchell continues getting injured, which seems like a safe bet. I hate to say it. I would never root for injuries. I don't wish them on anybody, but I also don't ignore them. And
now that TDP is coming along, that means Laybourne. You won't see Laybourne in preseason.
Right.
because he's
Right.
going to get
They'll
snapped.
hide him so we can hide him on the practice squad.
Yes. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So yeah, I would say it'd have to be Jordan Mason, and TDP could get that. I could see how if Kyle sees something, at some point he's like, let's go with TDP. He's been, doing good lately. Let's give him some reps and give Jordan Mason some time off. So I think they're probably really tied for the second place, but with 2A and 2B at this moment in time. And I think Elijah Mitchell should just
Mitchell's back anyway. So
I mean, he should just be breaking case of glass. Like, just put him on
same for the playoffs.
Same for the playoffs. Or if somebody goes down,
nice?
if everybody goes down, you need to put him in there. You know what I mean? Okay, you need this win. Somebody doesn't come back till next week, put him in there. Other than that, let him chill.
James says Laybourne got waived after talk. No, you mean Awat got waived, not Laybourne. He said they needed
D-line help. Awat got waived. Yeah, but he's saying Laybourne got waived after Taco went on IR, which Taco just happened. So I hadn't heard about it, but James is obviously telling us that Laybourne got waived.
Wow.
Thank you, James, for hopefully it's true.
Well, I guess they like who is 22? The running back who had a pretty good game for us. Is it McLaughlin? Or was that the Denver Broncos? The Broncos guy was McLaughlin.
Oh.
McAllister?
Oh, no. I bet you they're making room. They're going to put, what's his name? Bryant was right. Bryant was right. They're going to put that, the fullback, quarterback, linebacker. What's his name?
Coletto.
Yep. Yeah. Coletto's the dude.
Jack Coletto, the jack of all trades.
I bet you, because what Kyle loves a guy like that. He could do everything. He could run routes. He can throw the ball. He can block. He's also a linebacker, so he knows what linebackers are looking for, essentially. You know what I mean? Not like a NFL pro linebacker. He doesn't know. He hasn't practiced in that position yet. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, you got a guy who can move around. And I'm telling you, Kyle's going to have, in the regular season, Kyle's going to have him throw at least 1 or 2 passes, because it's going to be out there. So when he comes in the game, somebody's going to have to be like, remember, he threw a pass.
But I mean, you could say that. I get you. I hear you, Ryan. But come on, I've been saying that about Jennings, who played Wildcat QB. Juice, who's our backup QB.
But you already know
CMC. Now CMC did do it in the Rams game, but I thought we'd see more than just that.
This is not a regular guy who's in your lineup. This is a guy who comes in for a play, and that's what Jack Coletto would be, unless there was attrition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. He's one of them gadget guys. So where he can put him in there, and it's like a vanilla play, and it just doesn't do anything. And people are like, "Oh, okay, well, nothing happened." And then the next time puts him in there, something happens.
McNichols is the name of the other running back who played well on Saturday. Oh. Thank you, Kurt. I was like, yeah, is it McAllister? Or is it McNichols? McLaughlin was there. I was close. Mick, I figured there was a Mick in there. But yeah, what you call it? McLaughlin was the Denver one who ran all over.
All these Scottish names.
Yeah. Mick is usually Irish, actually.
Right? I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. For sure, Sonny. Yeah, McNichols, we're getting it from several folks. We aren't keeping 2 fullbacks on the 53-man roster. Unless he can play running back too. I don't know. How long does it take for waivers to clear, because reports say they want him on practice squad? I don't know during the off season how long it takes. especially with the 53-man cut coming in less than a week here. So there's going to be a lot of people flooding the wires soon.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that myself. So let's go back a little to Prius. Props for Trey Lance bombing. And let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh,
Because
I don't think Prius wants that.
I've been saying this whole time, Trey Lance has shown flashes of greatness in every game he's played, and he just needs to be more consistent. What do you know? The other day, Eric Crocker gets on his show, and he says, if Trey Lance plays like he played in that fourth quarter of that preseason game, there's nobody on this roster who can touch him. Nobody. That includes Brock Purdy. Yeah. He says he just needs to be more consistent, and it'll probably come with reps.
Exactly.
So,
we've seen that be the truth in the freaking game. In the game. We've watched it.
Yeah. He's a slow starter because he doesn't have a lot of experience. It takes him a little time to get warmed up, to get confident, and then he starts ripping it. And he rips throws that Brock Purdy cannot make. Absolutely cannot make. And can only dream of making Brock Purdy. Sorry. I like Brock Purdy a lot. But, you know, and then there's this video that like somebody posted it. They're like,
why did Brock Purdy get sacked on that last play on that first series?
Well, there was poor pass blocking, right? Yeah, that was
gotcha.
TDP whiffed his block.
But he can't throw without stopping and setting his feet. And
yeah, that
he obviously didn't feel confident in him being able to rip it. So
yes,
not saying that he couldn't if he stopped and set his foot, but he knew that throw, he can't stop and set his foot, even if it's that far. You know what I mean? So that's not necessarily something.
And the bigger question is, why didn't he throw it to Jennings, who was open when he ended up scrambling down to like the 2-yard line or 3-yard line or wherever he ran down. But Jennings was open, and so was Dwelly.
I'm not going to split hairs on that because we could say that about Trey Lance in a lot of his plays too. Which hey, it's just things happen.
But nobody's propping Trey Lance up as the starting QB and just saying, need for a competition.
Right.
So, so if you're going to prop him up, then you're going to get extra criticism because every time he messes up, you're going to be like, I wonder if Trey could have done better.
Plus,
that's why Kyle should have had a competition. It was a mistake.
Plus, things could be like, we're already finding out that he likes to roll to the left side, and he's better in the left side. So
did you see my tweet about that today?
No.
I put up his throw chart, and it's like all green on the left and yellow in the middle and red on the right, and of course green on the right, behind the line of scrimmage. But basically beyond the line of scrimmage, the only green area is left, and I said Perdlander or Zooland Perd. Sorry, Perdlander probably would have been better, but Zooland Perd because he can't turn left. So I was like, actually, it's the opposite of that. But I thought it was pretty funny because that's one thing Purdy's going to need to work on, or else defensive coordinators are going to game plan that and take that away like crazy.
Crazy. What are you going to do? Just run the ball to the other side?
They're gonna attack his weaknesses and limit his strengths. That's what they're gonna do.
Like even
dare Purdy to throw it right.
Even in the Dallas Cowboys game, they were already doing delayed stunts to the left side to try and catch him in rolling out to the left, and they almost got him.
Yeah, they did. He went out of bounds, but it wasn't a sack. It was a.
Well, there was one he barely got away from him and was able to make the throw, but it was like one left and because he couldn't see him. He's running out this way, couldn't see him. And the guy comes around the corner, couldn't see each other, but they almost got, almost ran into him if it was any slower.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Purdy because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Purdy's fine. Purdy's fine." Ryan, did you see in that game any evidence that Purdy looked just like he did in 2022, or did? Well, I'll just leave it there. I don't want to lead you down the road.
Well, there is a certain throw that is missing from his repertoire right now. And it's not that he's not throwing it, because he's throwing it in practice. We're hearing about it. He just wasn't putting it on tape for everybody to see in prime time. And I think Kyle was kind of helping him along, which
Absolutely.
to
Operation
me,
prop up Purdy.
at this time of the season, you need to be there or not. You know what I mean? Like, you either have to have your arm ready if you're the starter, or you need to just relinquish that spot right now and let somebody else get those reps, because he can't cover the whole. His Brock Purdy is a great quarterback for what he could do last year. Now, if you're taking 40 to 50 to, let's say 40 to 50% of his game away, then he's not as capable of working and running that offense like you would think. Like those throws behind the linebackers, those are now the deep crossers, our bread and butter. Those are now in jeopardy. And who cares if he can see it in time if the ball can't get there? You know, he's really good at seeing and knows what he sees the moment when he sees it, and he can just crank that ball out when it's a green light. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I really like about Brock Purdy, is when he sees it, he knows it. You know what I mean? And he just fires. I really appreciate that. That's one thing, like his lack of arm before he got injured. That's one thing I was able to overlook, because he's able to just work the offense so well like that, because he just boom, where's the defender? Okay, he's not even thinking about it. He's just boom, sees the pitcher, and his muscle memory automatically knows that guy's too far away to make a play. Boom, he goes. You know what I mean? I love that about him. But if you can't do the deep crossers and you can't hit anything outside the numbers, we got issues. That great touchdown he threw to George Kittle that was supposed to be for Ray McLeod last year, that's not happening. That's not there.
No, every long pass I saw in camp, 9 camp practices, was long or short. I don't think he threw one good long ball in the 9 practices I attended. And it sounds like that's continued. It sounds like it got a little bit better this last week, but then CMC was out today and he fell apart today. Go figure. And I've been arguing that we want to see Lance with CMC, which we still haven't seen. And Purdy doesn't have a security blanket. He's down around 50% completion percentage. So yeah, not good. Real quick, James said, I forgot how sexy BCB looks in that pocket. Floats like a butterfly. I'll take that over making all the throws, I guess. But, most of that was Debo yak. Bro. It was a couple screens to Debo. It was a nice throw to Jennings layered, where he could have taken Ayuk short and he went deeper to Jennings for the first, and a nice throw to Ayuk on the slant to get us down to the 2-yard line. But nothing impressive, nothing that says he's back to 2022 form to me. I'm still waiting to see it, and I'm hoping for it. I'm not rooting against Purdy. I want our team to do well, but right now I'm not convinced that Purdy is ready to lead this team, against a really strong opponent in Pittsburgh in week 1, where you got TJ Watt coming off one edge and Alex Highsmith the other, and one of those guys will be coming against McKivitz in his first ever NFL start at right tackle pretty much every down. So that's a scary proposition. Damian Lee says, I think, Ayuk and Danny Gray, how good they'd be with a QB who could hit them at the deep ball. Absolutely. Although I don't know if Danny Gray is going to make the team. James was asking any predictions on the final 53, any surprise cuts. Let's hold off on that. We'll get to that a little bit later. But James, remind us in a little bit about that. But there's want to call it Brooks Anderson in the house, official BNA Music 88. Why can't we discuss a negative Purdy play without a butt Trey? Well, that's just the way it happens in these things. Everybody, but yeah, I know it's true. They can both play badly. It's there's no guarantees that we have a franchise quarterback on this roster. I've been saying very vocally Sam Darnold is a waste of time and reps. I'll believe that until I see him in a regular season, and I hope we never see him in a regular season. It's funny, somebody's like, "Oh, well, Ted, you know, Darnold didn't have CMC and Kittle." I'm like, Darnold hasn't had any 49ers player in a regular season game, and I hope he never does. And then somebody pointed out, the dumb, that, yeah, Darnold did have CMC on the Panthers. Come on. Come on.
Well, not just that, but he's not even trying to really push the ball.
Dink and
Even
dunk. That's all Darnold is.
it's well, like he kind of flirts with a 20-yarder. It'll be like 15 to 17, but it's a I just I don't think he should be in any sort of competition until he's got the ghosts out and he knows the system, he feels comfortable. I don't want him this how I swear made a great analogy to this. It's almost like a breakup. He's got to get over all this stuff that he's been tormented through by just being able to do things correctly over and over again. So he learns the correct things instead of these bad habits that he leans on, aka throwing touchdowns or interceptions to out of the middle of nowhere. Like sometimes there's not even a receiver close. You know what I mean? Like not even close. It's ridiculous.
Well, the
I
one he
don't. I'm
threw to the end zone, the pylon of the end zone, where it was inside the receiver and like not even close to being a completion. Darnold,
Oh,
he just he just got lucky that Coletto was open for the TD.
I don't remember. Oh, yes. Yes, but I'm not worried about that one. I'm not even worried about the two, obviously that Bell had a hand on. It's more like everything I've seen post. And I'm not saying that it's not gone. That's the first and foremost. I want you to get your ghosts out of there, and then I want you to be able to learn the system, and then you can compete.
I have a nickname for Bell. I'm calling him Bell the Bull
Okay.
because he is a yak. He was chewing up the yak. Looked like Baby Debo out there. I love it.
He's a little ornery. What up,
Randy was
Randy?
saying the same thing, that CMC did play with Darnold, and then he included some more data. They both played together against the Texans, and they scored no points. There you go. And people say, "Oh, well, CMC didn't fix the Panthers." It's like, yeah, he's not going to fix a bad team, but he'll
Neither
make a
did
good
Barry
team
Sanders.
great. He'll make a good team great, especially one running Kyle's system.
Either
Like, he
Barry
is the key to
Sanders.
Kyle's system. What's that?
Barry Sanders. Did he make the Detroit Lions a
No,
great
best
team?
running back of all
No.
time. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Terrible
Yeah.
teams. It's not going to fix a terrible team. It's going to take a good team and make it really good or great, especially one,
All
like I said, that runs Kyle's system.
all a good running back can really do for you on a shit team where he's the best player, hands down, is make every game close. That's
Yeah.
the best that they can essentially guarantee, is to
There
make
you
every
go.
game close, because they're going to run the ball a lot, which is going to run down the time, not give the other team a lot of time to score on you, because they're going to do it anyways. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then he's putting up points.
Yep.
Defense
Natalie
can't be
O'Dear.
gassed.
Sorry, Natalie O'Dearn in the house. She says, I think Coletto looks good. Yeah, Coletto looks really good. That might be what happened to LeBourne. Could be he got Coletto'd. I don't know. We'll see. It still seems odd. Like someone said, we're not going to carry two fullbacks. I kind of feel like that, but he's so versatile. The jack of all trades, Jack Coletto. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Wait.
James says, how is
You're not gonna-
Latu doing in camp now? Has he cleaned up his Butterfingers? Well, he had two huge catches on the touchdown drive from Lance. One for a big first down on the left sideline, and then the one to the right that was actually tipped that he caught for the touchdown. So Latu, I'm not going to say he's redeemed, but he's on the road to redemption for sure. Because he was already blocking well and running great routes. It's just he just needed to hold on to the ball some.
You said we're not taking two fullbacks on the team. Well, what about Braden Willis?
Oh, Braden Willis is a tight end, so
For now.
Trent. I think it's Kittle, Willis, Latu, and I'm guessing Warner.
No, it's not Warner.
You think
not
it's
Warner.
you
It's
think,
either it's Fumagalli.
oh, could
or
be Fumagalli. I keep forgetting
either
Fumagalli.
Fumagalli or Ross the Boss.
I think Ross and Warner are gone.
Nah,
I think it's going to be Fumagalli.
Definitely Warner's gone.
Willis,
we got
and
people who
Latu.
can block on the team now who could take his spot.
Well,
Latu just can't
can
catch. Right.
Latu, yeah. But so it's Latu's going to nix Warner, and Willis is going to nix Dwelly, and Fumagalli is going to be the Croft. That's my prediction.
I don't know.
For on the 53 man.
It's hard to shake Ross Dwelly when he catches everything that comes to. Look at the interception.
Yeah, you got the TD. You got the TD. Yeah,
you can't.
Raiders. I know.
How do you just go? Yeah, I just rather see him on another team. Just
the guy can't block though. He cannot block, and he doesn't separate very well. So
you had a guy on your team who couldn't catch, and he was only there to block. Now you got everybody can catch, and you got other people to block. Tell me, explain to me. Why is Ross all of a sudden pushed out now?
I think Dwelly is gone, but we'll see. Look,
you could be right.
Brooks says Sam and CMC had DJ Moore, still a bag of doo-doo. Think enough of Darnold to see too much. Yeah, I mean, waste of time, waste of reps. That's until proven otherwise. I'll never believe in Sam Darnold. Sorry, Kyle. Sam on Chiefs.
Sam could be.
I think you meant CMC on Chiefs doesn't make Sam good. Yeah, it takes a lot to make Sam Darnold good.
He needs to go do some ayahuasca or something. You know what I mean?
It's like Aaron Rodgers.
He got to get rid of the ghosts, man. He's got to get some sort of outlook where he can, really start picking apart why he makes these mistakes. Once he does that, I think he could be a great quarterback. He's got an arm. He knows what he's seeing. He just makes stupid ass decisions sometimes out of the middle of nowhere. And it's aggravating. But once he can figure that out, bro, I think it could be really handy. That's why I was saying, if you just don't throw him in this competition thing, let him get his head right, let him learn the system. If we get two quarterbacks that go down this year, you could have a nice, healthy Sam Darnold who knows the system, who isn't seeing ghosts, who can go out there and just sling the pass like Brock Purdy did last year, coming in, filling spots. I don't see that could be great spot for him. Get some confidence back, go to Jamaica, get his groove back. And then he could go next year and he could go get himself a starting position somewhere else in the league. That'd be a great Cinderella story for him. Hopefully he got a ring on his finger when he does it.
How Darnold got his groove back. Well,
you know what I'm saying? He went to Jamaica. I just
wouldn't bet on it. My heart says yes. My head says no. East Coast Niner says Brock could have thrown the ball away on the sack. Trey avoided sack Saturday. Yeah, and Trey avoided a bunch of them, and he looked pretty elusive back there. Now, granted, they're not starters on the D line, but there's not starters on our O line either, and our backup O line is trash. No Kittle, no Juice. I don't even think he had Coletto out there, so not a lot of folks to block for Trey. He did really well, He did really well.
Seems like our second stringers
after a slow start
are worse than our third stringers as far as the talent level goes. It's almost like our third stringers are damn near our second stringers, and our second stringers are damn near our third stringers.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
Because
Willis should be a defensive end. Randy Daytona says, Willis, you mean Latu, because Latu played outside linebacker, which is an edge position.
I think
Willis actually has really good hands.
Willis is way too small to be a defensive end.
I think he meant Latu. Dwelly and Warner should kick rock. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen, but we'll see. Yeah, but Dwelly always seems to find a way back. So I don't know. He's like a stray dog that you can't get rid of. Sam Darnold could be on the 2007 Patriots and still go 4-12.
As we know him now.
From the top rope. From the top rope. Sam needs to eat some insanity pepper. That's the ayahuasca, I guess. Or is that the cactus? Peyote.
Insanity peppers. That's a pepper, I'm thinking. Like the insanity chips.
Just like super hot. Bringer.
Well,
Winter.
If you, well, not just that, but if you have enough capsaicin, I believe it turns it into, you kind of get like a little psychedelic kind of a trip
Oh,
because it's so hot
interesting.
that you're
So
like,
hot you see God.
well, it could be, like people would see mirages in the desert when they're,
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah. James says, I think if we get rid of Dwelly, it's going to be a cap thing. Everyone under a Kittle is interchangeable. Make cap room for a trade for the deadline to push for 6. Interesting. Ayahuasca makes you hallucinate. Although Sam scary ass don't eat drugs. Well,
I've heard it.
sometimes
I've
they can
heard it's
help
like
you
a
to
conversation with God.
can help with anxiety and depression and addiction, and supposedly cures everything from what I hear. But people swear by it. I know people who have done various things like ayahuasca or mushrooms or whatnot, and a lot of people say good things about it. So, Darnold got his groove back. Meme loading. LOL. Yeah, I gotta make one of those.
Wait, what was the name of the man in that? Because it was Vivica Fox, right? And then who was the man? What was his name? It wasn't Tyrese. It was,
Oh, oh, uh, what? Not Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know, honestly.
I can't remember his name. But that would be hilarious to put Sam Darnold right there next to him, like he was getting his back
I
broke
honestly, I
back in
honestly never saw the
Jamaica.
movie, so
Oh, well, I didn't really see the movie anyway, but I kind of heard the cliff notes. She, has bad breakup or something like that. She goes to
yeah,
Jamaica, because she doesn't feel loved, and she finds this, handsome, strong man on the beach. It's Jamaica. Things hang low.
yeah,
They wobble to and
yeah.
fro. She
It
was
reminds
tying
me of a
things in a
joke.
knot, tying them in a bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bottom Line Sports says, whose looks better, Darnold or Lance? Most say Darnold. Well, in camp, Lance was definitely better, noticeably better. In the Raiders game, Darnold was better, but he was, we had established the run. With Lance, Kyle, I said, committed sabotage by 3 straight drives in that Raiders game for Lance, the first 3 drives to open the game. We didn't call 1 run. Then the 4th drive, we called 2 runs, and what do you know? We score a TD. And so then the run's established for Darnold, and he did better. And Darnold had like 9 run passes compared to Lance had 20 passes and 8 runs. But not just that ratio wouldn't necessarily be a killer if there was at least like 1 run in every drive. But there was 3 drives with no runs. So, and
But
Darnold was going
I
against
was
a much
thinking,
worse defense
hey,
than Lance went against
everything we
in the
saw
movie.
this last in the last quarter, like there wasn't a lot of
Yeah, the
running.
fourth one.
It was Kyle dialing up passes for Trey, and Trey just slinging it.
And he did some nice, and he did have a nice run that got called back by a hold, and then he had some nice scrambles as well too to avoid pressure. He avoided pressure in the Raider game too. Everybody's saying that Lance can't avoid pressure. Needs to watch the film because
He
he's
was
avoided a
doing
lot of
it the
pressure
whole
in
time.
this.
There's times that he gets caught up. Not everybody can, get out of every situation. The one thing I see from him is he's holding out to pass. And at the very last moment he's trying to run out. He is wanting to stand there and take the hit while making the throw. You know what I mean? That's what he's trying to do. And so I think he needs to be a little bit more wary, maybe start off, once there's a little bit more pressure, like get a little bit more of a spider sense, a little, start moving a little sooner. But to me, I like the fact that he's always looking to pass. I'm not looking for a quarterback. The moment they get any pressure, they feel like it's an excuse for them to show their legs off and run down the field. That's not what I want. I want somebody whose last resort is that. I want somebody who on every other, not every other play, but once in a while on a play can keep the ball on a fake handoff and cause the defense to now have to cover both sides of the line, essentially the both ends having to stay and do containment instead of one being able to just continuously crash down the line and tackle our running back from the back. So that's what I'm looking for in a quarterback, and he was displaying it in that end of the third and through the fourth quarter, and I was happy.
There you go. There you go.
You saw a man
Got a
from
lot.
Nantucket. I saw a woman from Nantucket.
There was that's a limerick.
Yeah, I know.
Got
That's what
Jess
I'm
from East
saying.
Coast Red and Gold in the house saying, "What's up, faithful? What's up, Jess? Thanks for joining." Um, so real quick, we got a bunch of stuff going on with Scotch peppers. Are called Scotch bonnets, the
There's
Jamaican
Scotch
peppers.
bonnets.
Yeah. Drop to. So regarding the Donald Lance, look, ESPN is on this whole narrative. They're going to say, they said Lance had a terrible game Saturday when he was amazing. Anyway, I shouldn't say amazing. He had an amazing stretch. He was cold to begin with. He threw an interception, but the interception was much more of a great defensive play than a bad throw. The D lineman just jumped way up and tipped it
Now
and then
it was
caught
a
it.
bad
The other
throw.
one caught it.
It was a
And
bad
part of it
throw.
was the running back didn't
But-
give enough separation to where Lance could get it over.
Well,
The running back wasn't far enough away that you could throw it high enough and it fall down to and hit the running back.
It was a bad throw, but the
Terrible O-line.
The interception hinged on one person making a miraculous effort to get across and get their hand up, which took every inch of it, or every bit of his energy, and then another person who's making I don't know if I think they were already falling down at that point, but if not, they have to make a diving catch. You know what I mean? So
it was a diving catch
by
a D lineman. And arguably, if there were other angles, it may not have been a catch. The only angle they had, you couldn't overturn, but it's not like it was conclusive.
The first angle that you saw, it looked really bad at him throwing it. And then once they showed it from the other angle, you could see that it was more of a defensive play. And if you could be honest, so I said, look, it was a bad throw. You shouldn't have made that throw. You should have just tossed it in the dirt, call it, and just call it a down, just get rid of it. But he didn't. He also got a learning moment there. So guess what Trey's going to do? Next time that happens, he's probably going to do something different. Because
guess what Purdy did? Purdy then threw the same thing in practice the next day too. So, So, it could be Kyle's play needs to be revamped a little bit more than the QBs need to do something different. Kurt says our backup alignment don't play together to have consistency and communication. Forrester even said he judges one-on-ones more than the game for backup line. That's a good point.
Which one-on-ones is not a way to judge your offensive line skill.
There you go. George Taylor says we should bring back Robbie Gould. I don't think we're there yet, but it's getting to be a concern with Moody. All right. So he wants us to talk about who our selections, not who Kyle will pick. All right. We can do that too when we get there. Valmansport said Martin Lawrence for Stella. Got to go back. No. It's corrected as Tay Diggs and Angela Bassett. And
Tay Diggs.
George says, you've seen that movie. I mean, I've seen clips. I've never seen.
I know the cover of it. I know the cover. It's got
like a rom-com kind of guy.
Yeah,
I mean, I tell my wife, I'm like, no rom-coms and no murder mysteries. Like, just count me out.
No murder mysteries?
Oh God, I can't stand it. It's just like, come on, the husband did it.
No. Have you ever seen
the husband?
You ever seen Death on the Nile?
Yeah, that's a good one. The Death on the Nile is great, but that's different. That's okay. All right. I mean, the Dateline ones, the ones where
murder
real
porn.
Life, and they go through the whole trial and the whole thing. I'm just like, God, just spare me. I just don't need to see all these sickos. I know they're there. I just don't need to watch them on my few hours of family time.
So they used to play on PBS down there. They used to play Hercule Poirot, which was
that's who's Murder on the Nile. Yeah. That was a great one.
But they had the show, and it was they had an hour-long episodes, and it was a new person dying every episode. It was a great show. Also, they had the best Sherlock Holmes on there. Shout out to Jeremy Brett, died of cancer.
Oh man, bummer.
He was the best Sherlock Holmes.
There you go. David Villa says, "What's up, Niner homies? Can't wait for Friday. More Niner action." What's up, David? Thanks for joining. We appreciate you being here. Vegas game, Trey was doing play action when Kyle wasn't calling any action. Run the ball. Yeah, play action does not work with 0 runs. You can run ineffectively and play action will work fine,
And
but you can't run play action without the run.
I don't know. If it's first game of the year, they're expecting the 49ers to run the ball, right? If you didn't pass it on first down and you do if you didn't run it on first down and you do play action on second down, I'm guessing they might think it's a run, because if you didn't run on first down, you're obviously going to be running on second down, right? Because it's the Niners. You know what I mean? That's what I would think, being a defensive player,
Yeah.
or coordinator. But who knows? Kyle gets these thoughts where he's like, I'm just going to be smarter than everybody else and I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden it doesn't work. And he's like, oh shit. Okay. New game plan, guys.
There you go.
It came to me.
James
That wasn't going to work.
James Fernall says, where the hell is Nantucket? It sounds as bad as Scotland. It's
Nantucket.
Pretty bad. It's this little island off of, was it Massachusetts, I guess?
I
off
believe
of Boston.
it's Massachusetts.
Yeah, and you can take ferries there, or you can fly. There was a sitcom, supposedly, supposed to be that took place in the airport in Nantucket. It was called
Wings.
Wings, yeah.
My grandma loved Wings.
Yeah, it was all right. It was okay. I mean, I don't know. It was like in the era with like Cheers and Seinfeld. So like, those are classics. Wings was like, it was all right.
My grandma loved Mr. Hooper.
I didn't hate it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
My grandma loved all those shows that were on, like, the.
Oh, great. I was loved your grandma. Oh, man.
No, like, I've just realized, and I think grandma had a thing for men with darker skin. Not saying that, because grandpa was he was half Sicilian, half Czech gypsy. So he had a great tan, and grandma was like, she thought Urkel was a handsome dude. Well, not when his costume on, but when she saw him outside his costume, she couldn't get over how handsome he looked.
Was it Jaleel White? Was that his name?
She was like, he's so handsome. And I was just like, that's kind of weird, grandma. Why are you swooning? Now that I think about it, I think she liked a little more soul and some things. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's clever.
Bottom Line Sports says, looks like it's time to move on from Trey, guys. Looks like Shanahan already has. Well,
I don't.
Shanahan, moved on from Mahomes to wait for Cousins and didn't get Cousins, and Shanahan moved on from Brady to stick with Jimmy after we lost the Super Bowl and Brady wanted to come retire here. If Shanahan made Jimmy the highest paid quarterback in the NFL based on 5 games. Shanahan had Brock Purdy as QB3 to start last season. You think he was our 3rd best quarterback? What do you think happens if Jimmy doesn't get injured last year? We never even know what we have in Brock Purdy. So I'm sorry, Kyle is sus when it comes to QBs and any 3rd round pick not named Fred, period.
I don't know. I don't know what he thinks about in practice. Like, how he's just like, oh, well, I think that's why Brandon Allen was getting time.
Yep.
Because he's like, well, I missed out last year on Purdy. I had no idea what was going on. And, obviously, like, our quarterbacks suck in practice. That is a common thing. So, like, this year in camp, they were actually doing better lately. You know what I mean? Like, all the quarterbacks, for the most part, I was thinking are doing better. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Kyle's process is, first thing, can we address, not first thing, but obviously another thing, can we address the fact that Kyle, in essentially a win now mode, decided to put all his cards in on a project, and then once he gets them in the building, they understand his throwing mechanics are a little off, and he's doing little things. They want him to change things, but then he comes back and it hasn't been fixed, and they're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll just we'll wait for him to go in the off season next year to fix it. No, send the guy home, send him to somebody else, keep sending him to people until he fixes it. Why did they sit there and sit on their hands until now where they're about ready to just be like, oh, screw it. You know what I mean? He wasn't any good. Like now all of a sudden he does something on his own. Now you seeing glimpses out of him that you wanted to see year one with him. And it's like, how do you just throw away all those picks? Like he totally just sat on his hands. Once he figured out he couldn't fix it and he didn't know anybody who could fix it, he just sat on his hands instead of going and looking at another person to kind of fix it, get a second opinion. Just because this guy's your friend doesn't mean he knows everything about coaching in a quarterback, or like not coaching, but like fixing a quarterback in his throwing mechanics, which I guess would be coaching, I guess, now that I think about it. But yeah, it makes no sense.
No, that's what I was saying. People are like, oh, Kyle sabotaging Trey doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. A lot of things Kyle does don't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It didn't make sense to draft CJ Beathard in the 3rd round. It didn't make sense to have Brian Hoyer as our starting QB in 2017. It didn't make sense to say that Nick Mullins, whatever he said about Nick Mullins. Jeez, the guy's garbage. A lot of things that Kyle does don't make sense. And should Shanahan be on the hot seat? No, I'm not like a fire Kyle guy, at least not yet. I still keep holding out hope he'll get this trade thing right. But the more he does this, if he picks Darnold and Darnold lays an egg, then yeah, you got to just be like, sorry, Kyle, you built a great team, but you're never going to finish it without a quarterback. I'm sorry.
If they end up wasting all that capital on Trey, I think he should be fined.
Ooh, you mean lose some of his pay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Little
repercussions,
reverse incentives.
Take a quarter of it away.
Some consequences for Kyle.
Yeah.
I like that.
Essentially, all he did, his dad bought him a Ferrari. He wrapped it around a tree, and he's like, oh, shit. Okay, Dad, I'm going to need another Ferrari. This is where we're going to be at if he doesn't get reprimanded in some sort of way for throwing away these picks. If Trey can't do something in the time that he's got right now, because this is.
No, I'm with you. Brooks says win now, but Bosa hasn't even been in the Western time zone since January. Yeah, I mean, for me, a championship window starts when you win a championship. If you're saying we don't have time to develop Lance because we're win now, then we better win number 6 now.
Right.
Right. Better happen this year.
Time to develop the 3 first-round draft picks that we put in that guy. Then there should be no excuse to us winning this year, right? We should have that trophy.
Exactly.
If not, then you need to reevaluate things, Kyle. Because
yeah, no doubt about it.
We have been lacking at the quarterback position this whole time, and that was the one thing that couldn't get us over it.
Yeah, a quick comedy relief from James. In Scotland, if you stop at a traffic light for too long, they'll have your tires off faster than a Formula One pit crew. And Randy said Glasgow is nice, jokingly. I guess I don't know. I didn't visit Glasgow when I was there. I visited St Andrews for some golf. And
you slaughtered that first. I was like about ready to correct you. Like,
oh, Glasgow.
Gow.
Sorry. And then we went to Edinburgh for some more golf and fun stuff there too. But I thought I really liked Scotland. They had great beef and really nice people. The driver we had from the airport to St Andrews, he was like, it's approximately about 10 miles from here. And I loved that, just the redundancy of approximately and about. I thought it was very quaint. He just talked the whole time. My wife fell asleep. He didn't even notice. He was just talking.
There's something about it. When I hear bagpipes, I get emotional. Like I either want to go to war or cry. I don't know what it is. But when I hear the bags and the snares, I'm just like, it just does something to me. I don't know. It's weird.
Randy said that does not make sense. How can Chewbacca, a 10-foot Wookiee, be from Endor? Having a bunch of little Ewoks running around.
It doesn't make any sense. Do you know what he's talking about?
Kyle is the Chewbacca of the NFL.
Do you know what he's talking about?
Makes sense.
That's
Crazy,
South
crazy
Park.
times.
That's South Park. That's the Jesse
Ah,
Jackson offense. That's that
ah,
that in South Park.
classic.
That's how Jesse Jackson got O.J. Simpson off.
There you go. Pause.
Yeah. R.I.P. Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, no doubt, Jesse. Crazy. But yeah, so just kind of getting back to where we're. Well, should we talk a little bit about 53-man roster? I mean, ultimately, I was just saying with the whole Darnold and Lance thing, like all things equal, like if you can't decide, Kyle, then you should play Trey Lance because he's free. All his money is paid. Every time you put Sam Darnold in a game, you're paying him
Well, it's not that it's
a
paid, but it's
playtime
also
bonus for it.
if you
What?
were to cut or move Trey, you'd have a hit on the salary cap.
No, I
Which
get that. I'm just saying if you're gonna not decide who's 2 or 3 and flip them around every week, like he can't decide apparently who's number 2 and number 3. Like let the money decide for you because you
yeah,
can play Lance as much as you want this season. It doesn't cost you a nickel. But every time you put Darnold in, it's millions of dollars. Well, or not maybe every game, but it's 7 million over 17 games. So probably a million every 2 games for Darnold when you put him in. So it's money and it counts and it all counts towards next year's cap. So where we're way over. So, all things equal. Plus, don't you want to develop the guy who's only played 5 games?
that's
But
the
again,
thing.
nothing Kyle does make sense. This is making too much sense, Ryan.
I know.
Too much sense for
I
Kyle.
know. Why would you want to give the guy who needs reps and has hopefully a higher potential? Why would you want to give him more reps? Oh, because Kyle doesn't feel like he's consistent enough yet because he doesn't have the reps. And even if you put in Sam Darnold, it doesn't mean you're going to get consistency out of him. But James is really looking for the 53.
All right. Well, real quick, Brooks was before him here. He just said, "What if Kyle didn't like Trey because he's good, considering his fetish for mid QBs?" I've been saying that Kyle likes mid robots who do what they're told and don't steal the spotlight from him and his precious little system and his big ass ego. And I'm starting to think that that's what he wants. He wants a Mac. He wants a Jimmy. He wants a Cousins. He wants a Purdy. We're all fine quarterbacks. I get it. But none of them are franchise quarterbacks. None of them are like the guy who's going to carry you to a Super Bowl and win it for you. Elevate the team around them. They're only going to be as good as their luggage. They're going to get carried. And if everything's perfect, yeah, you could win a Super Bowl with any one of them if everything's perfect or damn close. But if anything goes wrong, it's not going to work. They're not going to be able to make up the difference.
I think I know what it is. You know how to put this? You know how some chicks will date guys who are in like a lesser league than them, right?
Yeah,
Because they want to feel like they have the control. You know what I mean? That if you wouldn't, if I'm not with you, you're going to be with some other, crappy, chick, some uglier chick, right? And I
right,
think he does that because he doesn't want somebody who's going to come in there and change the play in the huddle.
right. He doesn't
Because
want that.
he wants that, like, you need me. You need me.
He
I don't
wants a
need
mid
you.
robot.
Yeah.
That's
Remember,
Kyle.
yeah,
That computes Kyle. Yeah, I
yeah.
will do
I
as I'm
make you
told,
look good.
Kyle.
So don't bite the hand that feeds you, because then I'll have to just, run the ball
Submarine you.
consecutively through 2
Run you up the
playoff
middle
games.
till your leg breaks off. Yeah,
I don't know.
we've seen that. We've seen that. So real quick, Kurt Sampson says, "Huh? Darnold gets paid each week regardless if he's no. Darnold gets 3.5 million regardless. He gets 10.5 million if he meets all of his incentives. There's a $7 million incentive there that has to do with games played, and I'm sure milestones in those games. I'm sure some of it has to do with playoffs and or Super Bowl, whatever. But there is $7 million that we could end up having to pay Darnold, whereas Trey's already paid for. Whatever happens with Trey, you could play Trey 20 games. It doesn't cost us a penny more. So that's what I was getting at.
And I think if you move him, you do take a cap hit. Or if you cut Trey Lance, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get cap
Most
hit
of
and all that.
especially
Yeah.
this year, most of Lance's cap hit is already paid. It's like you get like 2 or 3 mil this year and like 6 mil back for next year or something like that. It's like 9 mil for the 2 seasons combined. And you know what? 4.5 mil for a damn good quarterback is a freaking song. So, especially when you have trouble keeping quarterbacks healthy, it's ridiculous to even think about trading Lance for some of the, these high picks. When we crank out third round picks, we crank out 3 third-round comp picks every single draft. You want to get a 4th or a 5th for Lance? That's nothing. Nothing. Ridiculous.
James has got a great point here.
Replace Kyle. We have a QB. You can't replace him. The team is built around one scheme. He gave himself a job for life.
Well, but
no, that's not true at all. As soon as Kyle doesn't make an NFC Championship game, people are going to come with pitchforks and torches for Kyle. Trust me. This goodwill he's got is all contingent on him making noise in the playoffs, getting us close to the Super Bowl, because so many people are fine with just getting close and not winning.
But we don't run things. Jed does. And Jed's scared of having another situation like after he let Harbaugh go.
Scared money don't make money. We'll see. I only like.
What are you talking about? Look at the Dallas Cowboys. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. How much money
are they commercial
making?
In the 80s?
How much money are they making?
I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan. Hey. Never, ever, ever let you forget you're a man, because I'm a woman. Sorry.
Ted, how much are the Dallas Cowboys worth?
$6 billion, $7 billion. More than us. $8 billion.
The last time they won the Super Bowl? When's the last time they beat us in a?
Yeah, but part of that is their stadium. Part of that is they're America's team. Everybody loves the Cowboys.
But they keep making money every year. What do you hear from these? You'll see these posts on Twitter and all that stuff, or X, right? You see these posts on. I'm not buying another jersey this year. Jerry Jones, he doesn't care about us. He doesn't. He just wants to sell jerseys and TVs, and you know what I mean. So I just don't. I don't buy that. I think you can be very profitable getting close over and over and over again, because what are you? You're in the talk all the time. You're in the talk all the time. This off season, we're already expected to be one of the better teams in the NFC, right?
Yeah. I guess it was Sizzling was the commercial. It's crappy, low-fat bacon. It was like turkey bacon, I think.
Oh.
Don't bring home the bacon. No, that was different. No, that was different. Yeah, don't bring home the bacon. Make it lean, Sizzling. No, different jingle, guy. Randy, sorry. It was called like Anjali or something like that, the product I was talking about.
Remember that freaking coffee that was in that little metal container? What was that thing? My grandma drank that stuff all the time. Cafe Olay or something like that was the... it was like the coffee and little team. It was flavored and it was powdered.
I didn't drink coffee back then, so yeah.
Coffee Olay, I think it was. She always had to have this stuff. I was like, coffee.
International coffees or something like that.
Yeah.
Cal picks sixes that throw pick sixes. I'm not sure what the first sixes is.
Oh. The sixes would be like
6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Yeah, that's it.
That's
nice
great.
Brooks. Took us a second. Little stumper there.
Brooks. I knew there was something good in there, and I had to hone it in there.
Always is. I'd rather have a ticket for the playoffs every year than go all in. I'm ready to go all in, but that's just me. International Delights. I knew there was an international in there.
Isn't that the creamer?
No, that's the coffee. That's right. Little tin can. Yeah. And I knew there was an international in there. So let's get to the 53. Because James Renault won that. I only have 9 minutes left. So
is he even here still?
Yeah, he's here.
Sure.
Yeah, he always says goodbye.
He
says goodbye before he signs off. It is getting late across the pond, though. Holy smokes! It's what is it? 5 hours plus 5, 10. No, seems like it's later than that. 3 and 5, 8 hours.
James is here. Don't worry. He just commented.
So it's 1 a.m. So thanks for staying up, James. All right. So All right, so you heard my tight end picks. I got Kittle, I got Fumagalli, Willis, and Latu. That's my 4.
I'm going with Boss the Ross over Fumagalli, even though I like Fumagalli. I like if we don't have Latu, Fumagalli is my guy.
There you go. Let's go with wide receivers. I got Debo, Ayuk, Jennings, obviously Ronnie Bell the Bull, and Conley. If we're only keeping 5.
I'm gonna go with Tay Martin instead of Conley. Just for a little variety, because Bell is obviously a shoe-in. Like I think you will see Bell, Ronnie in he'll have packages to start the season, but I think you'll see him like in regular games probably about halfway through the season, if not earlier.
I'll say if we keep 6, I'm going to go Snead because he's huge in practice. He's showed up big in the preseason games. And he's a veteran. Kyle likes veterans.
You can keep
I'd say Willie Snead's number 6.
Yeah.
All right, running backs.
Plus he blocks.
I'm going to say Awat, Laybourne. No, obviously CMC. Obviously Elijah Mitchell, Mason, TDP, and I guess this McNichols cat. If we carry 5, he would be maybe practice squad.
Yeah.
Obviously Juice is the 5th one, really. So.
Yeah. I probably got to go the same.
All right. And then O-line, obviously we got the starting 5. Then I've got Feliciano, Will Manning, and are we only carrying 7? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess Jalen Moore if we're carrying 8.
Yeah. What?
Well, Kurt says cutting. Yeah, Gray's going to get
don't
cut.
skip over. Ryan was right.
I'll come back. Oh, Creamer. Ryan was right. Okay. May have changed from coffee to Creamer. All right. There you go. Right. Cutting Gray McLeod. Cutting Gray McLeod's going to be on IR or PUP or whatever, so he won't count towards the roster right away. We'll bring him back and we'll see what happens at that point. But it's going to be, I think, like week 4 or 5 at the soonest. Probably they put him on PUP for 6 weeks would be my guess.
Without Trey being the starter, and I don't know, Gray's fast, but I don't know. I don't know if he's worth it all now when we got guys who can do everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Snead can do everything. He's a vet. No, he might not be fast, but he's made catches that were crucial, and he's made blocks downfield that were crucial, and he's made blocks in the running game that were crucial. So that's
the 2 big ones from Lance, like almost back to back.
Well, I mean, last year he
was
putting in work at the end of the season. Like he was in there and he was doing work. And I was like, damn, he's really helping out. And it's like, he was just the unsung hero. You know what I mean? Like every now and then you'd see Snead doing something great that just broke another 5 or 10 yards.
Speaking of O-linemen, because Kurt says Jalen Moore is making it. I saw Baldy was like going all in on Matt Pryor. I'm like, dude, Matt Pryor is not a fit for this scheme, and he's just not that good. We got him off the street. I don't know who thinks he's making the team. I don't, but maybe, I do. I mean, if there's one thing I trust Baldy for, it's linemen. He was
all over the ground last game. He was getting pushed back at guard. He was getting pushed back at center. I was like, this Pryor guy needs to just get the fuck off the team. I was just sick of him.
Tell him, Ryan. Don't hold back.
Hey, I'm sorry. I thought Pryor was
just International Coffees by General Foods.
Wait. Was it? Sorry.
Game set checkmate.
I'm thinking of Feliciano. I think I'm thinking of Feliciano.
Yeah. Feliciano has not played well.
Feliciano.
But he's been better than Zakel.
Zakel's, well.
Zakel is dumpster juice.
He's been bad. His worst play really wasn't his fault. But he's got other ones, a lot of them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not looking good. And that was the guy they thought was going to be the starter next year. Oh, this guy could start for us maybe. And then all of a sudden we got Spencer Burford, and we were like, huh, I thought Nick Sakells was the winner. They all said Burford came in, and then he had to share snaps with Brunskill.
Yeah.
So I think Sakells is really smart. I just think he sucks.
Yeah, he's
He's
getting
just
manhandled out there.
he's not either. He's not quick enough with his hands, or he needs to more plates, not worry about dates. Just go out there and just stack weights, bro, because what you're doing right now is not working.
There you go. Apollo says, is it just me, or is Kyle let the locker room run the team? I don't care about one Super Bowl. I want a franchise QB. Being so soft to allow QB competition for week 1 is weak as hell. I agree. I agree completely. Kyle does let the locker room run the team. He already let it happen with Jimmy when he tried to sub in Trey Lance, and he let Jimmy in the locker room revolt against it.
You played sports,
I
right,
think
Ted?
I think it should be hit. He should have more authority, but that's just me. I know that the team really likes him though, so I mean,
Ted,
he's done a pretty good job other than QB and 3rd round picks, other than Fred.
did you play sports, Ted?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. When did
Football,
your coach?
soccer,
When
cross
did your
country
coach
running
come to you and go, "Hey, what are you thinking about me putting this person in this position?" They never
my
said anything
coach,
like that.
No.
They weren't looking for your input. You know why? Your job was to be a player.
That's right.
Your job was to be a player and worry about your stuff. Their jobs as coaches was worrying about being a coach and doing coach stuff. It's really easy, and it shouldn't get complicated.
Kurt Sampson says Snead and Conley are practice squad guys. They always bounce on and off waivers in this league. Conley was great in camp, and he's done really well in the preseason games. I disagree with Conley, but Snead maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So we didn't finish. We got to. Well, we're not going to be able to make it. It's 4:59. I gotta bounce. But maybe on our next show we'll finish the 53-man roster
next week.
Next Tuesday, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. Check out Ryan at Border Sports on Twitter and No Border Sports on YouTube. If you're on my channel, make sure you like and subscribe to his. Same thing. If you're on No Border Sports right now, please pop over to Ted Talks Ball and give me a like and subscribe. We really appreciate all your help. And I'll just say peace and go Niners.
Peace.